Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a mind map, and we're going to be using mind maps to explain what we know about exploration and expansion in Europe. So you're going to start with your blank sheet of paper, and you're going to write your main topic in the center. So the main topic that we're working with today is exploration. I'm going to put exploration and expansion. Okay, now from here you can kind of choose to do whatever you would like. Mind maps do include a lot of visuals. So you might choose to, instead of putting a box around this, you can do a different shape around it. You could make a globe around it, whatever you want to make it look a little more creative. For the sake of my demonstration, I'm just going to put a box around it just because I don't have time to draw an actual symbol. Okay, so we have exploration and expansion in the middle. Now from here, you're going to branch off your various topics. So you do want to make sure you have both your notes and your exploration and overseas encounters notes. And this will really help you in kind of turning this reading into a visual representation. So what I would love for you to do is to emphasize and de-emphasize certain topics. So if you're going to emphasize a certain topic, I want that to be a little bit bigger than some of your other topics on your page. So for example, if I thought that the most important thing to highlight for exploration and expansion was the motives, which are God, gold, and glory in short, but Christianity, you have commercial motives, you have mercantilism, you have colonization, you have various things that you can put under the motives for exploration. But if I know that motives for exploration are going to be most important, then I want to make sure that I highlight those and I make them a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take a different color. And again, I love using these Papermate Flair pens because they, I think, are best for this type of work. If you do not have these, you can use colored pencils, you can use regular markers. I just think that these work best. So, but it is up to you. So here I'm going to branch out and I'm going to draw kind of a curved branch, and then I'll emphasize and I'll kind of make these branches thicker after I draw on them. But I'm going to write on the branch motives for exploration. Okay, so motives for exploration, I have that branch. Okay, then I can go in and I can kind of adjust the thickness of that branch a little bit. Make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, but I'll probably add in all those details after I'm done with my topics. So for my motives for exploration, when I'm explaining my various motives, I'll switch colors again. And let's go with blue. And I'm going to add in my three main motives here. I'm going to kind of make branches kind of off the side. And so I have God, gold, and glory. Okay, so my three motives are listed there. Again, I can make those branches, just fill them in a little bit more, make them look a little bit more prominent. And then I'll go back over my lettering as well. Again, you don't have to do all this when you first go through it. So after I've explained my three motives, I don't want to just leave it at that. I want to know that you know what what these three motives are. So here, maybe I would, off of God, I could maybe draw a box with my explanation in it. Okay, with gold, okay, I could draw another shape off here with my explanation. Okay, so you can see where I'm kind of going with this. And then with glory, again, I'm going to draw maybe another little box, write out my explanation. It's probably best if you write your explanation and then box it or circle it around. And then when I'm finished with that, I'll go and add in some symbols. Again, I'm not the most artistic of all people, so it would take me a lot of time after I get all my information down to kind of make it look decent or presentable. But when you're writing symbols or you're doing drawings, just think of things that could be representative. So with gold, maybe you can draw 3, gold coins over here. With God, you can draw a cross to represent Christianity. They don't have to be detailed images. Okay, so maybe after you've done your motives, you want to talk about maybe one of your topics. If I'm looking back in my packet, I'm going to be looking through here, and I'm going to talk about the overseas European empires. Okay, so I can do another topic off to the side and making my branch. And I'm going to call this overseas empires. Okay, and then I'll adjust the thickness of my branch. And then I will go in and switch my colors when I'm explaining my overseas empires. The first thing that it talks about is the Portuguese trading network, and then it goes in to talk about the different Spanish colonies and Portuguese colonies. So you can kind of decide what you want, what information you want to include from here into your branches. And again, if you want to de-emphasize this point, you want to emphasize on something else, you're free to do so as well. So overseas empires, maybe I'm going to have a branch out here that's going to talk about Portugal. Okay, and then from Portugal, I'm going to maybe branch out 3 more little topics so that I can further explain Portugal's empire. And then maybe from here, I'm going to explain Spain and kind of the different empires and the different colonies of Spain. Okay, and then you could really keep going from here off of your subtopics. Okay, once I'm finished, I'm going to go, make my lines thicker. That was kind of a bad example. Just so it looks a little bit more defined. So that's kind of how you would start a mind map. And then once you kind of have your information on your mind map, then you can, add your images. And again, you don't have to do it exactly how I'm doing it. Okay, down here at the bottom, I'm going to kind of show you. Some people prefer straight lines. And so maybe instead of motives for exploration being on a curved line, you can write out motives for exploration and you can do just other smaller boxes coming off of this. Okay, and we'll have our 3 motives. This, God, gold, and glory. And then from there, you're going to write out your explanations coming down off that. Okay, you can make these different colors. Every time you change topics, I would make them different colors so you can see the differentiation in your topics here, and it makes it easier to understand. And here you're going to write out your explanation. Okay, I'm kind of going through this a little bit fast, but you could add in your different symbols here. These could all be images. Okay, try to fill all your white space with images. Okay, these obviously aren't actual images, but you want to make sure that your space is filled. That's what makes mind maps look so different and visually appealing. So I'm going to show you really quick a couple examples from previous classes that have done mind maps. Now these are on different topics, but there's a lot of really great examples here. So here's a mind map over American imperialism. Okay, you can see here she has her various symbols. She used some outlines of countries, which is something that maybe you could do since this involves a lot of different colonies and different territories. For exploration, you can use outlines of countries as symbols. You can see her symbols are pretty small, but if you kind of zoom in on her different topics, you can see what she's talking about here. So expanding the empire, she had the 4-Acre Act and the Platt Amendment. Over here, she has the annexation of Alaska, and I can see through her arrows exactly, I can just follow her arrows and understand what she's talking about in her various pieces of information here. So that's one example. And another example that I would like to show you, this one is over, this is a European history one, and you can see she kind of went about it in a little bit different format. So she has her main topic in the middle, which is developments in France, and the bigger the box, the more emphasis she put on the item. So you can see Louis XV. She had all her details listed out about Louis XV. Okay, she used pretty simple symbols, but they're effective. Okay, because it just adds color and it adds little pieces of art throughout her mind map. So 100 Years' War, she has Joan of Arc. She has a little cartoon caricature of Joan of Arc. She has religious wars, the 16th century, you can see here. So all in all, this is a really good looking mind map. Okay, so again, there's the whole thing. So she kind of broke it up in blocks, which you are free to do for your exploration mind map as well. And here is another example. I'm trying to find one that doesn't have a lot of white space. Let's go with this one. Here's another one for American imperialism. Okay, she has a lot of text. I would prefer that she has a little bit more branches than she does, but she did a pretty good job on this one of filling the white space. And here's another one for American imperialism. They included a lot of little caricatures of people. Hers is kind of in different sections, so you kind of have to flip the page around, but there's expanding the empire, cultural superiority, goals, annexations of Hawaii and Alaska. The only thing I don't love about this one is that I think they could have included a lot more color. I do not like how the whole text is in pencil. It makes it kind of hard to read, but they did a good job with the images. And here's another one that uses a different style of branches. Instead of using branches, this person used dots. So this one looks nice. It's easy to tell her different topics because she used a different color per topic. So all of her goals are listed out in pink. Spanish-American War information is listed out in green. Orange and expanding the empire in orange. You can see the differences. Lots of different symbols. Again, she used a few outlines of countries and then just really basic types of symbols to represent different items. So that's kind of the gist on how to create a mind map. There are mind maps also listed, or you can find them all over my classroom on the walls, so feel free